Hold on tight, folks, because we're diving straight into a blazing truth storm that's about to incinerate the shiny postcard California's been peddling for years. Imagine this Gavin Newsom struts in like he's a star of a Hollywood blockbuster, hair slicked back, smile dazzling, hands waving like he's directing a chaotic orchestra. The man's got charm, charisma, and enough hair gel to outlast a tidal wave. He's California's golden boy, the self-proclaimed savior of the Golden State, promising utopia while cameras flash and crowds roar. But then like a lightning bolt, Tyrus storms in a towering force of muscle which sharper than a razor, and a no-holds-barred style that it's harder than a runaway train. When Tyrus speaks, the illusion crumbles, lies shatter, and truth roars loud enough to wake a sleeping nation. This isn't just a critique, it's a verbal wrecking ball, and Newsom's carefully crafted image is about to get obliterated the golden mirage California's. Picture perfect lie. Let's start with a fantasy California has been sold as the ultimate dreamland, sun-kissed beaches, Hollywood glamour, Silicon Valley innovation, wine, country charm. It's a state where you sip kale smoothies by day and dance under rooftop lights by night. The postcard is flawless palm trees, swaying waves, crashing a lifestyle, screaming. You've made it. Newsom leans into this image like it's his personal brand. Every speech, every photo op, every tailored suit screams, I got this. California's the future. He's a leading man in his own movie script, packed with progress, opportunity, unshakable California cool. But hayray's the twist, step off the set, and the whole production collapses. Peel back the Instagram filter, and California's not a dream, it's a nightmare. In designer clothes, the streets of San Francisco, Los Angeles, once glittering symbols of ambition, now look like scenes from a dystopian blockbuster. Homeless encampments sprawl under overpasses, boarded up storefronts line streets that used to hum with life. Families are packing up, fleeing to Texas, Florida, even Nevada, because who can afford a state where taxes hit harder than a sledgehammer? This isn't paradise. It's a Netflix documentary spiraling out of control, and Newsom standing in the middle grinning like he's still on the red carpet. Tyrus sees it. He doesn't buy the hype. While Newsom's posing for magazine covers, Tyrus drops truth bombs that explode the myth. He doesn't need a teleprompter or PR team to tell it like it is. He looks at the chaos, says what everyone's thinking. If this is paradise, why does it feel like a zombie apocalypse? Homelessness is skyrocketing, crime creeps into neighborhoods that once felt safe, gas prices so high you need a loan to fill your tank. Tyrus doesn't just point at the cracks, he grabs a crowbar and pries them wide open. The Newsom show, all style, no substance. Let's talk Gavin Newsom. The guy walks into a room like he's California's James Bond, smooth, confident, untouchable. His hair is so perfect it probably has its own stylist. His speeches are polished, packed with dramatic pauses, grand hand gestures, screaming, trust me, I'm in control. He's got Hollywood swag of the kind that makes you think he's got all the answers. But hayray's the catch. While he's playing the charismatic leader, California's crumbling faster than a bad reality show. Tyrus doesn't let him slide. He steps up, calls out the performance for what it is, a show. Newsom's delivering lines like he's chasing an Oscar, but the state he's running is a blooper reel. Businesses are bolting, leaving empty storefronts, lost jobs in their wake. Families are stuck choosing between rent, groceries, and don't even start on the homeless crisis. It's not just a problem, it's a catastrophe. Tense lines, streets, addiction runs rampant, neighborhoods feel abandoned. Newsom keeps promising solutions, but all we get are speeches, photo ops, excuses. Tyrus cuts through the noise with surgical precision. He doesn't need charts or polls to make his point. He points at the wreckage, says this ain't working. He's right. California's not a shining model of progress. It's a cautionary tale. Newsom selling a dream, but the reality is a state where people struggle to survive while their governor perfects his close-up. The infamous dinner hypocrisy on a silver platter. Now, let's talk about the moment that sums up Newsom's leadership, or lack thereof. Remember the French laundry scandal. While Californians were locked down, rationing toilet paper, attending funerals, over Zoom, Newsom was caught whining, dining with lobbyists at a fancy restaurant. This wasn't just a bad look, it was a punch to the gut for everyone who followed his rules, while families canceled Thanksgiving. Kids missed school. Newsom was twirling fine wine, laughing under chandeliers like he was in a lavish movie scene. Rules for thee, but not for me. Tyrus doesn't just mention this, he roasts it with savage wit that leaves scars. He paints the scene so vividly you can almost hear the silverware clinking, lobbyists toasting their privilege. This wasn't a one-off mistake. It was a display of arrogance. Californians were fined for breaking restrictions, scolded for wanting to see family told to sacrifice for the greater good. Meanwhile, their governor was living like royalty, untouched by the chaos he helped create. Tyrus doesn't let it slide. He brings it back like a courtroom. exhibit the ultimate proof of Newsom's hypocrisy, and the audience eats it up because they live it. They know how it felt to be told we're all in this together, while their leader lived a different reality. Tyrus, the voice of the people, hair race. Why Tyrus resonates. He's not some suit reading a script. He's not a politician dodging questions or spinning stats. He's a guy who talks like your neighbor at the gas station, shaking his head at the pump, muttering about how the state's gone to hell. His humorous, sharp delivery, raw truth, hits like a body slam. When he talks about California's problems, it's not abstract, it's personal. He's describing the daily grind of people who can't afford to live in the state. They love who dodge needles on sidewalks, wonder why taxes keep climbing, while streets crumble. Tyrus doesn't need to scream to make his point. He says what's real, it lands harder than any campaign ad. He talks about homeless camps spreading like wildfire, businesses packing up, leaving families who can't afford to stay. He doesn't sugarcoat it because he doesn't have the Californians live this mess every day. And when Tyrus calls out, it's like he's giving voice to their frustration. They nod along, relieved. Someone's finally saying what they've been thinking for years. He's not just roasting Newsom. He's exposing a system that's been failing people for far too long. The great exodus California's losing its shine. Once upon a time, California was a place to be. Silicon Valley churned out billion-dollar stars. Hollywood was the heart of entertainment. Napa Valley poured the world's best wine. People flocked, chasing dreams drawn by opportunity, the California lifestyle. But under Newsom's watch, that dreams turning into a nightmare. Companies are fleeing faster than contestants on a reality show. When the drama gets too real, big names, others are packing up their headquarters, heading to Texas, Florida. Why? California's taxes, regulations, cost of living are choking the life out of them. Tyrus lays it out plain. If people are running from paradise, maybe it's not paradise anymore. He's not wrong. Families are leaving in droves, chasing affordability, safety in places like Arizona, Nevada. Imagine that people choosing desert heat over California's beaches because they can't afford to stay. That's not just a statistic. It's a gut punch, and Tyrus doesn't need a presentation to prove it. He points at the moving trucks, empty storefronts, says look around, the evidence is everywhere. The comedy of truth, Tyrus' secret weapon. What makes Tyrus so effective isn't just his honesty, it's how he wraps it in humor. He doesn't rant or lecture. He cracks jokes that make you laugh out loud, then hits you with truth so real it stings. Picture him on stage talking about Newsom's wild hand, gestures, those flailing movements that make it look like he's negotiating with the air. Tyrus doesn't just mock it, he turns it into a running gag, joking Newsom's hands or try to escape the speech before it's over. The crowd roars because it's funny, but they're also nodding because they've seen it too. Those gestures are Newsom's telesign. He's more focused on performance than solutions. Tyrus' humor isn't just for laughs, it's a weapon. It cuts through polished lies, makes truth impossible to ignore. When he talks about Newsom's fancy dinner, he doesn't just list facts, he paints a picture of a governor sipping wine, while Californians eat cold pizza in sweatpants. It's comedy with purpose. It lands because it's relatable. People don't need a policy paper to understand hypocrisy. They feel in their bones, and Tyrus makes sure they feel in their funny bones too. The cracks in the dream, California's reality check. Let's get real. California's problems aren't just talking points, they're daily reality for millions. Homelessness isn't a statistic. It's 10 cities you pass on your way to work. Crime isn't a headline. It's fear parents feel when kids walk home from school. Gas prices aren't numbers. They're why you skip that road trip you plan. Taxes, they're why families choose between rent, groceries. This isn't the California dream. It's a survival game. Tyrus doesn't need to exaggerate because truth is wild enough. He talks about San Francisco, once a symbol of innovation, now looking like an open-air experiment in misery. Los Angeles, city of stars, feels like a gritty sequel. And Newsom, he's still out there talking progress while the state burns. Tyrus doesn't let him off the hook. He points at chaos, asks the question everyone's thinking. If you're the governor, why aren't you fixing this? It's not a gotcha. It's a challenge. Lead or get out of the way. The power of calling it out. Here's the thing about Tyrus. He doesn't just criticize, he connects. When he talks about California's struggles, he's not speaking from a podium or news desk. He's talking like someone who's seen the same chaos. You have his words hit home because they're not filtered through political spin. He's not trying to win votes or impress donors. He's saying what's real. That's why people listen. When Tyrus calls out Newsom's hypocrisy, it's not just about one dinner or scandal. It's about a leadership style that prioritizes image over action. Newsom selling California as the future. But the future's looking grim when you can't afford to live in it. Tyrus doesn't need to invent drama. He points at reality. Homeless camps, boarded up businesses, families leaving in droves. It's all they're playing as Day's not afraid to say it. The fallout A stayed at crossroads. So where does this leave California? The illusions, cracked shines, faded truths out. Newsom can keep selling the dream, but people aren't buying it. They're living reality. Everyday sky-high taxes, rampant crime, cost of living. That feels like punishment. And Tyrus, he's a guy who ripped back the curtain, showed everyone what's really going on. His words don't just sting, they spark. They make people laugh, think, most importantly, question. The saddest part, nobody's shocked. Any more scandals, double standards, broken promises. Just another day in California. But Tyrus doesn't let it slide. He keeps pointing at wreckage, calling out hypocrisy, reminding people leadership isn't about photo ops, it's about results, and California's results are screaming failure. The future, can California be saved? Hay race to Kicker, California still has potential beaches, our stunning innovation. Still their spirit hasn't died, but it's buried under dysfunction. Newsom's not the guy to dig out. Tyrus doesn't just tear down, he challenges. He's saying it's time for leaders who fix problems, not pose for cameras, time for accountability, not excuses, time to stop pretending the Golden State is golden when cracks shine brighter than polished. Tyrus' voice is a wake-up call. He's not just roasting a governor. He's exposing a system running on vibes instead of vision. People are listening. They're tired of lies, chaos, being told to believe in a dream that doesn't exist. Tyrus didn't cause a fire. He pointed at it. Now truth's out. It's up to Californians to decide what comes next. Will they keep buying the fantasy or demand something real? The final word, truth over illusion. In the end, Tyrus doesn't just take down Newsom. He takes down the entire illusion. With every joke, jab, raw truth he strips away. Glossy lies shows California for what is a state in crisis led by a man more obsessed with image than people. Laughs are just a delivery system. Truth is the payload. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. California's still got beauty, potential, spirit that refuses to quit, but it's drowning in chaos. Newsom's not the lifeguard. He's a guy selling overpriced sunscreen. While waves crash, Tyrus isn't here to save the day. He's here to make sure you see the storm. His words cut, humor stings, truth echoes. Golden State's not gone, but it's fading fast. If one voice can shake the illusion, it's hard to imagine what happens when others join in. Cracks are spreading, curtains down, spotlights on reality. Time to stop dreaming, start fixing, because if California's going to shine again, it's going to take more than hair gel promises. It's going to take truth. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated. Subscribe for more powerful video.